Hello guys, welcome back to another, don't know what you want to call this video, Star Trek video, sci-fi video review, I don't know what you want to call this. So this is my second reaction or second reviewing or at home on DVD of The Search for Spock, and I watched it on the 16th of February, but because my mates were around and they made a lot of noise in the living room, I haven't got a TV in my bedroom or whatever. Anyway, so I watched it today on the 17th of February, and yeah, this is what I think of it. So, let me say it's better than, the motion picture. You know what I mean? It's like the Wrath of Khan. It's more like, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's, yeah, just take a look. So what I think about this film is, alright, look, I understand the plot, but I don't understand why they did it though, because some of the reasons why in this review that I want to say is, why now is Kirk want to do some lame thing to just try to get Spock back to the Enterprise, even though he knows that the Genesis is a bad planet and is a horrible planet and it's dangerous. But in reality, it's not a planet. It's more like a video game console, and it's also a band. It's not a planet. Thick people, ain't it? Anyway, so yeah, so in this film, for some weird reason, I like it when everybody goes like, "Oh, look at me, I'm the new character now," and I don't really know all the new characters, and it's all weird. But I like it how Scotty can't do whatever. He can't do the engineering bit. He has to do something else. That's new. It's like he saw the sort of thing before when this character has a swapped around with a different job. And talking about swapping, do you know how Spock died? If you want to call it Spock died because it didn't die, somebody else had died instead. I can't really remember because it's a difficult, boring, mere, alright story of the search for Spock, even though you can't really search for Spock because, well, he's alive, but he grows up. I don't really understand. So yeah, I watched this film. It was okay. It just drags on a little bit. The plot is a little bit rubbishy, kinda. Everything is kinda in this review because I feel like this is a good plot, but at the same time it's a lame plot, because with the other films so far I've watched, and this is my first ever viewing film on DVD to do with Star Trek at home, because I watched the other two at the cinema, something like, for like anniversary or whatever it's called, or director's cut, I don't know. But anyway, so this plot is doable because I like how we don't really see much of the Klingons, that character out of the Addams family. He plays one of the major Klingons. I like how the other Klingons, some of the Klingons at the very end says, "I deserve to die," or whatever. And even the pet of the Klingon, the master Klingon, for some reason, has their own little scene. I don't understand that. So I'm like, this plot is okay, but it seems all childish when they had to go, "Oh look, this is what I had to do now. Oh, this is what I'm gonna do." And we get nowhere there. We get nowhere with the story plot with that bit, whatever that we're on about. You know what I mean? And next thing is this and next thing that. In the first ever Star Trek movie, the motion picture one anyway, it didn't feel like jolly and whatever. It felt really long and boring because it is. Here, it's like the search for Spock is all childish and at the same time it's all boring. I don't understand that. So, yeah. So this is what I think of this stupid movie called The Search of Spock. Don't know why it is. So I do like this story. I think it's a really good story, but it's kind of weird at the same time. More weirder than other sci-fi films, especially in a Star Trek movie. Anyway, so far, I only watched 3 so far, and this is my second viewing for at home anyway for The Search of Spock, and I still don't know what the plot is all about. And what I found lame was that Kirk is responsible. Kirk is so clever. He knows he's not supposed to do dangerous stuff, but he saves the world and all that lot. That's his job apparently. It's like his sort of hobby, but more like a job at the same time. I don't really understand. So I do like that bit though. What I also enjoy is what I found funny in the film is like, I know it's kind of like taking a mick out to some religion, but I mean like I like at the very end when Kirk was in the game kind of with Dr. Bones McCoy or whatever his name is. I like that bit, and it looked like they were like walking along, kind of like that, and they were like, all that rubbish. It's not rubbish, but I'm like, so that's what I thought of it at the very end. And in the film, we don't see much of the Klingons. We only see the Klingons first with this woman who wants to die, and then the second one is when David, who's the son of Kirk, you haven't seen it in the second one when they actually reviewed it, or what it was called, and then he dies because he's trying to risk his life with this Savick woman, Vulcan person, who's not Christy, whatever her name is, but she's also trying to have this sort of moment in the film when she's trying to understand Spock, when I'm groaning and I'm doing this sort of thing to Christy Alley character, even though it's not Christy, it's somebody else who's playing Savick. I don't know anymore. So that's what I thought. This is okay, but it's too whatever. It's a whatever film. It's not a best film ever made when it comes to all the Star Trek movies so far that I watched, but it's kind of so I do like this film, but at the same time I think it's rubbish. It could be worse. It could be the motion picture film, and that was like and this film is like so yeah, this is what I think of The Search for Spock. It's better than the first one. The second one, and it's similar to the second one. You got revenge, but it's nothing to do with, Khan. It's just to do with the Klingons, even though some of the Klingons in the first ever movie of Star Trek got killed, and we never see that much of it in the third one. It's like, in third films, they need to be better than the second one and the first one, even though they never are. So yeah, I don't know anymore. That's all I think I cleared up. I think I like how, like, this, can't remember her name, but she's, the one who's like, okay, now, go back in the closet, make sure to go back in the closet, and she's a very famous character in Star Trek anyway, but I'm like, I like how she's in the Enterprise. And we sort of didn't see her at all in the rest of the movie, because as you know, she was still in the Enterprise look, and then some scenes later with the Enterprise blown up because all of them went on Genesis or whatever the planet's called to find Spock. Yeah, and then she's still alive. Look, for no reason on the Vulcan planet or whatever it's called. It's weird. It's so weird. So this is what I think of this plot. I know it's a short review. I know it's not really good and everything like that. But this is what I got so far, and this is what I think so far about this movie. I mean, like, oh my god, there's something wrong with this movie, and I don't know how I can explain it because it's so weird. I don't know how I can it's just. So yeah, I do like Star Trek. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not into Star Trek, but I do like Star Trek. I don't like the Star Trek New Generation, all that rubbish, but I do like Star Trek 1 to 9, or where it's called. The story's not lame, but what they do in the story is lame. If you know what I mean? Like, for example, the good guys are trying to get after the crew of Kirk, and they're like, okay, Kirk, you have to go back here because you're doing the wrong thing. We saw that in lots of films. We never. I know it's, but I think that's one of the first ever movies who've done that. Where they say, okay, Kirk, you have to go back. You're supposed to go back to the big ginormous spaceship thing, and then the little tiny spaceship when they were going after them, sadly won down. That was lame. You should have charged up your stupid spaceship, shouldn't you? Anyway, so what do you think? And and also the stupid and stupidly lame. I'm gonna blame it on Leonard Nimoy because he directed this film. Is that the Enterprise looks different in this movie? It looks different. Do you know what? Because I watched number 1 and number 2, yeah, and it looked the same, kinda. But in this one, it looked completely different. It looks like those weird machines in the 90s. It doesn't look. Yeah. What do you think if you watch this film? Did you think it's good, bad, meh, or what do you think? And I thought it's a because it's not bad and it's not good. It's not the worst and it's not brilliant. It's somewhere in the middle. But put in the comments down below if the comments are on, because sometimes the comments are not on. And I really enjoyed this film. But at the same time, I think we should have had more information why he just swapped characters or swapped people with McCoy versus Spock. He's like, okay, now, and then I don't really understand that bit, but the rest is good, but kind of lame at the same time. I don't know. So yeah, thank you very much for subscribing, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.